But greatness is the ability to squat at their feet because of a wave or a path that they have paid. Amen. You might be a great singer. You might can do great things with your vocal cords. But when you see that there's someone else that has paid the dues, you might can out-sing them. But the grace, that's if you can discern greatness. Well, say, I'm not here to outdo you. I'm here to learn from you. Tell me what to do. How do I maintain this? Well, darling, my voice went at 45 because I was up there hollering. Let me sit down at your feet. Tell me some more. But instead of going to receive from them, you compete. See, you don't discern greatness. When I get around older preachers, I go in and says, how you prepare your sermons? What books have you been reading? What do you do for prayer? Amen. See, you can learn what to do and what not to do. This is how you discern greatness. Amen. See, have the ability to discern greatness in your midst. When you go into a restaurant and there's someone's life that has impacted you, pick up the bill. Says, I'll pay for that for you. Don't look for them to do something for you. Why do you want to do that? Because of what you've left for us and the way that you've paid for us. Do you not know there's many prophets that we've made a way for them, but none of them have come back and said thank you. They'll get somewhere up along the road somewhere, and they'll run up against a wall and have to come back and say, tell me again. The ability to discern greatness. Talent does not spell greatness. Character does. Touch your neighbor and say, what's your character like? Amen. And see, some of you this week need to find a master. Name a master, not someone that you're claiming as a master whose feet you are sitting at. In your craft, in the area of your expertise, whose feet are you sitting at? That is teaching you what you don't know, or do you feel as though you know it all? Touch your neighbor and say, I know he's in your Kool-Aid today. Come on, tell him. Next. See, and some of you have tremendous talents, but I can tell by the way you work, you haven't sat at the feet of a master. You want to know why? Because when you sit at the feet of a master, they give you a certain grace. There's a grace that comes with your work. And some of you are doing works, but you are missing the grace. Amen. Let's move on. The thinking mind represents the what? Presence of God. The thinking mind. If you're not a thinking mind, you're not the presence of God. Now let me just qualify this. The thinking mind represents the presence of a God. Because you can think the wrong thoughts. The thinking mind tells us which God is in your presence. Amen. Let's move on. Y'all don't like that revelation. Next. Then the thought comes. Amen. Next. Finally, we will welcome the what? We will welcome the what? Form into manifestation. In other words, when the thought comes, now when that thought is resting there, you are welcoming the form. Now, all thoughts. Now let me just get a little spiritual on you for a moment. All thoughts send and brings forth a vibration. Every time you pray, you're vibrating. Hello, Jacob, who is resting his head on Bethel, a pillar, a hard place, house of God, who are having visions, or probably moving in intercession, because Jacob sees a ladder. And what's going up and down that ladder? Angels, messengers, thoughts, vibration that is changing from matter to spirit and spirit to matter. And that's why when you understand this, every one of your prayers, every thought is sending forth a vibration that is beginning to bring forth a form. Now ask yourself the question, say, what am I forming? Now think about that for 10 seconds. Because you are forming something. Now, ask yourself this next question. What have I formed? Now look at yourself. That is what you formed. You formed your life. Amen. To be honest with you, your mother and daddy did not form you. I know you've been wanting to blame them. Now we're going to release the blame, Adam. I know you think your mother and father formed you. You formed yourself. They couldn't make you do anything. Because some of your parents wanted to make you get straight A's in school. You refused to. You decided, I am going to fail English. I'm not going to do my homework. You formed that on your own. Say with me, I formed myself. Say with me, I am what I form. Amen. Now, let's move on. Now, this kind of gets real interesting. Read. Now, let's go to this here, and we're going to all look at it, read this together. Begin. If we want to be influential people, we must start influencing ourselves. But be sure the influencing is in the right direction. If you are going to be influential, if you are going to be influential people, the first thing you're going to have to work on is influencing yourself. Until you can influence yourself, you can't influence others. Now, I can't go into what the word influence means because it will frighten you. You couldn't handle that today. So I wouldn't dare bring up the dictionary meaning of it. But the thinkers will go home and read it. And it will shock you concerning what influence means. I had to think twice about using this word after I found out the dictionary meaning, but then I said, well, maybe it's safe. But now we begin to see here that if you want to be influential people, we must start influencing ourselves. Let's go on to the next. Revelation of the what? You got to come to the revelation of what the I am is. I am that I am. See, until you can understand what the I am is, yourself, until you get self-revelation, amen, Jesus